Hello and welcome to The Discriminating Gamer, the board game review show that likes Texas in the summer almost as much as it doesn't like Texas in the summer very much at all. It's very warm. Ladies and gentlemen, today we're going to go ahead and take a look at Warhammer Dreadfane from Warhammer. In Warhammer Dreadfane from Warhammer, the two players are going to take on the roles of either the Condemnors or the Mournflight as they attempt for dominance in this kind of skirmish battle game. Now the game takes place over 3 rounds, and essentially each player is going to have a number of figures. The Mournflight has, I believe, 4 figures, whereas the Condemnors have 3 of their brave knights. Now what's going to happen here is you're going to go ahead and go through a series of phases within each of these rounds and attempt to gain the upper hand over your enemies. You're going to do this through brutal combat, but also some card play. Players will also have objective cards. These are things they're trying to score, and they will also have power cards that let them do wild and kooky things and play tricks on their enemy. Now you can have any number of power cards during the game, but you're limited to only 3 objective cards. Now at the start of every round you have the hazard phase. Essentially you draw a hazard card. A hazard card is kind of an event card. It's going to tell you what specific conditions are taking place on the board. The board itself is kind of the arena on which you're fighting in. There's different places you can't go, and there's different objective points. And the hazard phase may affect specific points on the map. It also may affect specific characters or the way they interact or things during battle. Now after the hazard phase, players are going to go ahead and roll off. Now you've got a number of dice. You've got the attack dice, which there are 5 of them, and then you've got 3 of the defense die. Now you're each going to roll 4 die because they have similar symbols on certain sides of them, and if you're each going to kind of roll off, and if you roll off and you get the 1 symbol, then whoever gets the most of that symbol goes first, and then if there's a tie there, you can go ahead and who's ever got the most of another symbol, they go, and etc., etc. And there's kind of a way it works down for the symbols to see who goes first, who gets the initiative, and who gets to decide which piece actually moves first. Now on a person's turn, they have 4 activations. Essentially, they can activate their units in such a way that they can move or attack or what have you 4 times. Now on your card for each of your figures, you have stats. You have a movement stat, it's 1 activation per movement. You've got kind of your range for attacking. You've also got kind of the damage you're going to deal, etc., etc., etc. Now during an attack, you're going to roll a number of dice that is indicated on your card, and you're going to look for the appropriate symbol. Now you can also, when you're being attacked, you roll defense die, and you roll a number of defense die equal to your defense value, and you're trying to roll a specific symbol. And if you roll, say, 4 hits and the person rolls 2 defenses, then of course that's a net of 2, but they hit you for however many damage points are on there. And you've only got so much damage, so this can be kind of scary. Now different things can happen here. A figure may be taken out of battle, he may be killed, he may be pushed back. So you go ahead, you figure out exactly what the result of that particular combat was. Of course, if you take damage, you place damage on your character card. When you hit your total, that is when you are removed. If you only take so much damage before, of course, you're removed from the game. That figure is removed from the game. Now one of the things too is you can also do a charge action, which is essentially a running attack. You may be able to do this if you're at a distance and you want to close that gap. You can go ahead and do that, but then of course you're out. You've activated for that turn, no more activations. Now as you complete certain objectives, you're going to get glory points. Now you put these glory points kind of face up near you, and then you can spend those glory points to turn them over face down to buy upgrade cards from your power deck that can kind of give you persistent bonuses for the rest of the game. Now you want to keep those glory points, you just simply turn them over because it's going to be important toward the end of the game. So a player can win in 1 of 2 ways. He can either defeat all the figures of his enemy, get them off the board, or if he has more glory points. So whoever succeeds in doing that, destroying completely your enemy or gaining more glory points, wins Warhammer Dreadfane. So Warhammer Dreadfane, or Warhammer Underworlds Dreadfane, I believe, I think there's other factions you can get for this. If they're not available now, I think they will be. I think that's the idea here. And I should point out, this is just a brief overview. There's a lot of other stuff going on in the game, other little nuances and things like that. I'm just kind of touching the basics here. This is, a decent skirmish game. It's very reminiscent of the other Warhammer game that came out not too long ago, the Arena Combat game. Of course, that's 40K. This is Age of Sigmar. But it's, it's an interesting, fairly light skirmish game. There's not a lot to it beyond just this brawl, and it's a relatively short game. Plays in about an hour, so it's not like it's this big slog. It kind of does what it needs to do within that time. I do have some criticisms. I'm not a big fan of putting together assembling the guys. That's just me. I know some people like it, and that's cool, and some people, of course, paint it, and that's cool. But it's not what I do. So that's kind of a miss for me. I wish they came just already assembled. The big kind of issue I have with this specific game, however, is you're constantly doing the roll-offs. So at the beginning of every round, you do the roll-offs for initiative. But a lot of times cards will come out and they'll say, do the roll-offs. Like the hazard cards come out and they'll say, roll off. And then it's like to do something you could almost kind of do. The timing doesn't matter. You can just each do something. So that got annoying fast because there's so many of those roll-offs, and you've got, you're looking for those symbols, and then you're looking, okay, we got that, then there's other symbols, and then there's other symbols. There's support and half support and some other things that I didn't get into there. But, you're rolling these things, and like I say, it's just a little tedious. I wish they just had included a couple of D6 and you just rolled D6 for initiative or something like that. I think that would have worked far better than rolling for the symbols. To me, that's just not very fun. That's just pure chance. And like I say, a lot of the times it just seems unnecessary. I mean, I understand rolling for initiative, but rolling for all these like hazard cards, I don't get. All told, I was not very impressed with that aspect of the game. On the whole, however, I had fun with this game. I played it with Sam, who's a big Warhammer guy, and we enjoyed it. We had fun with it. I would say it's a good game, and particularly if you are a somebody trying to look to get into maybe this kind of skirmish game, or you're somebody who likes Warhammer but maybe you're not ready for the big miniatures game. I think this is a great gateway game to it. I don't know that it's a great game though. I don't know this is one that kind of seasoned gamers are really going to flock to. It's going to be a little too simple. But I think there's a happy medium there. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to recommend try it before you buy it. If you're looking to maybe to get into Warhammer and looking for a place to start, I think this is a great place to start. If you're just kind of looking forward to getting into hobby gaming and maybe hobby combat gaming, again, great place to start. Seasoned gamers, like I say, I don't know that there's going to be a whole lot here for you. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us today on The Discriminating Gamer. As always, we ask you to please leave a comment for us on YouTube, on Board Game Geek, on our Facebook page, or on thediscriminatinggamer.com. We ask you to please like us on Facebook, subscribe to us on YouTube, and follow us on Twitter. We are The Discriminating Gamer, and I got to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, Sam Houston once said, if I owned hell or Texas, I'd live in hell and rent out Texas. I know what he means.